Friend's mom stole my iPad because my art was inappropriate. I live with my adoptive parents, and they are the sweetest people you'll ever know. For my birthday, my granddad got me an iPad, an Apple Pen, and a drawing app I had been asking for. I love doing digital art, and I was definitely ecstatic when I got it. My mom was so excited for me and took my shopping to get a case and stickers to decorate it with. The friend in question, I'll just call A, is the nicest person I've ever met. She's my closet friend, and I don't blame her for what happened. I'd gladly take a bullet for her any day. A is also 18. The person who I can't despise is her witch of a mother. I'll call her Karen because why not? Karen is 38. The son she wanted to give my iPad to, I'll just call B. B is 10 years old. Karen is a single mum and has made it the base of her personality. She runs a failing mommy blog and used to post parenting videos. Oddly, she believes in vaccination and doesn't think the earth is flat. She's still a very spiritual person and believes heavily in karma and creativity. She homeschools B and doesn't teach him how to read or write, just teaches him about karma and things of that nature. With that random word, vomit, out of the way, I'll get to the story. Yesterday, Karen came over to drop off A so we could hang out and have a girls' day. My mom invited Karen in for coffee and let B have control of the TV remote. I immediately showed A my tablet, and we both started acting like idiots and talking about color palettes. B didn't seem to care, but I caught Karen looking at us weirdly from the kitchen. I ignored it because I figured she was just watching B. A few hours went past and it started to rain. It wasn't just a drizzle, it was a downpour, and there would be no way Karen could drive home safe. My mom told Karen that she and B could stay in the guest bedroom, and A and I could sleep in my dad's game room. It has a pull-out couch facing the TV, so we were fine. B whined that he wanted to see the game room, but my dad has a rule that no one under 16 is allowed in, as he has some scary games and concept art littered around. Karen protested lightly, but my mom shut her down, and she dropped it. B had a full meltdown, so me and A went to draw in the crafting room, basement. I decided to show A some of my more scary drawings, and pulled up a picture of a werewolf I had drawn. It wasn't gory or bloody, but it was scary, and I didn't want to have it pulled up in case my mom saw. A and I love scary things, so we decided to make a piece together. We put on a 5-minute timer, and each took turns drawing. When we were done, we had drawn a vampire biting into a girl's neck. We made it a bit scary and drew the vampire clawing at her arm. We printed the picture and hung it up so we could decide a color palette. But in the middle of selecting paints, we heard the door open. We had locked it, but it was one of those crappy hook locks, so all it took to open was a few shakes. B came down the stairs, and at first he didn't notice the printed paper. A told him to leave, but her ignored her and went to try and grab my mother's colored pencils. We stopped him, and while we were dragging him towards the stairs, he saw the picture hanging on the corkboard. I didn't know something so small could make a sound so loud. He screamed his lungs out and bit A's hand, so she would let him go. He bolted up the stairs, and I took A to the sink to wash her hand. We had a sink installed so we could wash paintbrushes. Within seconds, Karen was down the stairs, and I heard my mom trying to calm down B upstairs. The following is the conversation. I'm going to leave out the swear words so I don't get in trouble. So if you see any weird baby talk, just know the conversation wasn't as nice as I typed it out to be. Karen: what the hell did you do to my son? We didn't do anything. Me: he came down here so we tried to take him upstairs and he flipping bit A's hand. Me: he came down here so we tried to take him upstairs and he flipping bit A's hand. Karen: no. Karen: no. What did you show him? At this point, we didn't know that B had even seen the drawing. Me: what? We didn't show him anything? He just came down here and started screaming when we moved him. Karen: don't you flipping lie to me, you little ducker. He told me he saw you drawing a murder. Karen: don't you flipping lie to me, you little ducker. He told me he saw you drawing a murder. I figured out what she meant before I did. I know. I'm stupid. You mean the collab? It's not a murder. It's a vampire. I looked over at the corkboard, finally catching on, and Karen ran over when she saw me looking. She ripped the paper off of the tacks we had used to put it up and gave this really dramatic gasp. She put a hand over her mouth and her eyes got wide. She looked ridiculous. I looked over at the corkboard, finally catching on, and Karen ran over when she saw me looking. She ripped the paper off of the tacks we had used to put it up and gave this really dramatic gasp. She put a hand over her mouth and her eyes got wide. She looked ridiculous. Karen, does your mother know what kind of filth you've been drawing? I was dumbfounded, so I just answered honestly. Me? Yeah. Karen looked even more offended and noticed my iPad on the table. Karen looked even more offended and noticed my iPad on the table. Karen, if you're going to be drawing such inappropriate filth, you don't deserve this. This maniac picked up my tablet and was about to walk up the stairs. I snatched it away and rushed to stuff it in my pencil bag. Karen tried to grab the bag, but I pushed myself into a corner. I clutched the bag super hard and started to scream for my mom. Mom is my mother. Mom, what's wrong? You don't need to scream. She saw Karen trying to grab me and ripped her away from me. I just want to say my mom is a big lady. She towers over my dad, who is 5'10", and she's not dainty either. Karen immediately went on a tirade about how I was corrupting her son and forcing him to look at disgusting garbage. She shoved the art into my mom's face, and she just kinda raised her eyebrows at Karen. My mom then turned to look at Mom. Did she make your brother look at this? No. It was hanging up and he saw it. We had the door locked, but I guess he got in. He bit on the hand too. He bit on the hand too. Showed her the bite and sent upstairs to get a Band-Aid from the hall closet. My mom told Karen that she didn't appreciate her behavior and asked her to take B and leave. Karen looked pissed, and I swear her face went beet red. I showed her the bite and sent upstairs to get a Band-Aid from the hall closet. My mom told Karen that she didn't appreciate her behavior and asked her to take B and leave. Karen looked pissed, and I swear her face went beet red. Karen, are you flipping kidding me? She traumatized my baby. Mom, your son is fine. He wasn't supposed to be down here anyways. The door was locked, and he must have forced it open. It was an honest mistake, and I would like you and B to please leave. Karen, if you're going to that way witch, at least give my son the tablet. He's going to need therapy, and the tablet will help him express himself. My mom rolled her eyes. Mom, fine. She walked over and grabbed a drawing paper tablet and handed it to Karen. Karen looked confused. Then she got angry and slammed the paper onto the ground. Karen, no, you dumb witch. I want the one in her purse. My son needs it more than she ever will. If she's going to be drawing that cursed garbage, then she doesn't deserve it. My mom asked what tablet I had, and I told her that Karen wanted my iPad. She looked surprised for a second, but just turned to Karen and told her to leave again. Karen was fussing and screaming, saying things about how I was disgusting and that my art was inappropriate, but my mom threatened to call the police, and she just stomped up the stairs. My mom asked what tablet I had, and I told her that Karen wanted my iPad. She looked surprised for a second, but just turned to Karen and told her to leave again. Karen was fussing and screaming, saying things about how I was disgusting and that my art was inappropriate, but my mom threatened to call the police, and she just stomped up the stairs. Said she was going to stay, and Karen dragged B to the car. My mom sat us down and we went over the events. We all eventually ended up laughing, and my mom put some antibiotic ointment on A's bite just to make sure it was clean. A is still here, and my mom says she can stay in the guest room for as long as she wants. Before anyone asks, my dad is on a business trip and won't be back until Friday. My mom is going to call him tomorrow and tell him what happened, just in case Karen tries anything. Update 1. Karen called my mom this morning while me and A were eating pancakes. We didn't hear the conversation, but my mom told us that Karen said she was throwing A's stuff away because she wouldn't support her little brother. My mom still says A can stay for as long as she needs in the guest room, and we're trying to figure out how to ask if she can just move in. We definitely have enough space, but supporting another person might be a different story. Since A is 18 and legal, she can move out whenever she wants. The real problem would be retrieving A's sentimental items from the house. A lot of people have told me to talk to CPS and have her investigated. Me and my mom are planning on doing this once my dad gets home. A's hand is doing a lot better, but my mom is still keeping a close eye on it. She has been cleaning it and switching out ice packs every few hours. B didn't break the skin, thankfully, but we're still going to be careful. If anyone knows how to ask my mom to let A move in, please tell me. I want my friend to be safe, but I don't want to pressure my parents. Karen tried to call A last night, but she didn't answer the phone. Update 2. I sat down with my mom last night and I put my dad on a Zoom call. After explaining the situation, I just flat out asked. There were a lot of different opinions that were thrown out in the comments about how to ask. And at this time, I forgot every single one and blurted it out. My mom told me she wasn't surprised, and my dad said that he didn't have a problem with it. My mom wasn't as easy to convince because she believed having A stay with us would bring Karen around for more drama. It was a long talk, and she told me she could still stay for a while, but to live with us is a completely different story. In the end, she agreed but stated that A would have to get a job as she and my dad couldn't support A for the rest of her life. I'm happy to say that the guest room is now A's room, and my mom is gonna let us paint it however we want this weekend. This is the happy part of the update. As many of you kindly suggested, we got police involved. We took a picture of A's hand, but the marks were barely visible. To the person who suggested this, you were right. We should have taken a picture earlier. And for those asking why my mom and I kept cleaning it, even though the wound wasn't open, I'm an idiot, and my mom was panicking. I won't lie and say I'm smart. I am a very dumb person, and I do dumb things under pressure. Anyways, we called the non-emergency number, and my mom did most of the talking. After a while, we drove to Karen's house. It's not very big, but she has a large front yard that was full of miscellaneous items. She saw us pulling up and thought we were here to drop A off, but our escort surprised her. She had thrown some of A's things into the lawn, but it was mostly clothes and posters. A only picked up her scrapbook, and that's all I saw before she went inside. Karen said me and my mom weren't allowed on her property, so we waited in the car. I heard Karen shouting, but I didn't understand what she was saying. A wasn't inside for long and she came out with her backpack and gym bag. Karen screamed at her to never come back and to never call her again, blah blah blah. We drove home, and me and A kept thanking my mom. I left out a small bit of what happened for safety concerns after asking my mom and I cut out some of the stuff where it was just talking that didn't go anywhere. We unpacked some of A's personal items, and we're going to have a in-house spa day once my mom gets home from work. There's going to be some changes in the house, and we're going to have a house meeting once my dad gets home from his trip. Karen tried to call A's phone, but she blocked her number, and we've been going through our daily routine. We share a bathroom now, so we've been cleaning up and rearranging to make space. This is the best possible outcome, and I feel like I'm living in a dream world. I know A is upset though, so I've been trying to cheer her up. As many of you also suggested, my mom is going to report Karen for a number of things to CPS. I'm not really involved in that part of the situation, but my mom said she would keep me updated.